aircraft may prowl U.S. skies. Already doing it. LA to test crime-fighting drone. Drone aircraft will be used to nab illegal immigrants on California-Mexico border. Not. And again, those poor people are coming here from Mexico because the UN 20 years ago took all their property. They'd come to families on record. This is happening in Latin America right now in Africa. We've covered the articles. They come in there. It was called the Machete War. They've had several of them in the area there in southeastern Mexico in Yucatan. They had one just 20 years ago. And they come and say, show us the deed to your property. Well, there's a cemetery. My family for 1,000 years is buried there. They say, sorry, you're off. They stick a UN sign on it, sell it for hotel developers, you name it. We used to go to Mexico twice a year when I was a kid to that area. There were all these little shops, bed and breakfasts, businesses, happy people. I was there 2 years ago and said, where are all the fishermen? And they said, no more fishermen allowed. Only the big companies are allowed to come and fish. Old men can't go catch fish for their family. There's literally no fishing boats in Cozumel. No fishing boats along that entire area. I've been all over Mexico. There's nobody there. There's nobody but the big companies now. The people are all gone. When I was there as a kid, there were people everywhere, living happily. They were all forced into Mexico City that was 10 million people. Now it's 35 million. Half the population lives in cardboard boxes and literally gets water a few hours a day out of faucets filled with toxic waste. 1/3 of the babies in Mexico City are born with a disorder. I forget the name, you can pull it up, of literally no brains, like a tiny brain. They're like born as vegetables. They're now going to inject the entire child population. First it was girls 2 months ago. Now it's everybody with Gardasil that's known to sterilize them. Genocide is going on in mass. And then all these people pour across the border. The government's there to say, oh, here's some welfare on top of your regular job to drive down wages. And by the way, guns are bad. You're going to vote for that, aren't you? Yeah, just get me out of here. I'll vote to take the guns. Boom, they're pouring in. The globalists have imploded Mexico. Everything's falling apart. In Africa and in Honduras, it came out in the last 2 months. The UN goes in. Even the New York Times admits it. And shoots people who won't leave their property. And I'm telling you, that's coming here to America. All the documents are about rural populations. If you're not dependent on them and it's some big compact city where they can drain your bank account anytime they want, you're the enemy. And they don't care the Pentagon's waking up. They don't care the military is supporting Ron Paul because within 5 years, the Pentagon believes 80% of their aircraft and their ground forces are going to be robot. You don't think that's true? Imagine the trillions they spend, upwards of $2 trillion a year here domestically, more than half the world's defense budget in the U.S. You think they could just churn out toasters and DVD players and stuff? No. How about an 18-wheeler that pulls up with guns all over it, robot-controlled, without even human? In fact, they won't believe it. I forgot to give you this article, guys. Google Air Force to launch autonomous drones. And you pre-program them, they go out, and they already have them. They're already killing people in the, quote, test. I cannot warn you enough about how serious this is. I cannot bring you words. How much of what I told you previously has come true? I'm telling you the rest of the story now. Believe me, you think stuff's bad. This is only the beginning. I'm getting chills. This is only the preparatory phase of what humanity is going through right now. But we can beat these people if we're aware of it. Air Force, technology. Tyrannus, United Kingdom. And I guess that's a UK announced. Yeah, that's their copy of the stealth fighter. No. Let me think of the exact headline. It's something like Air Force testing drones that operate without human control. Drones without human control. I covered like a month ago on the radio. The point is that they're going to phase into that area. That's where this is going. All right, continuing here. There's the government documents on it. Here it is. Now, getting into other issues. You can keep looking, and then once we find it, you can get it. Okay, Air Force testing drones without human control. Just say government testing, Pentagon testing autonomous drones, or testing drones that kill on their own. And again, they're already in the field. Now, again, I do all this in front of you so you can learn. I'm just here showing you what you can find out for yourself. Armed robotic drones, that might be it. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's all over the news. There's a danger room. What's next for national security? I'll think of the exact headline in a moment. The point is, this is already going on. Once I get something in my mind, I've got to find it. Look, I'll just find it. We have to. I'll cover it tomorrow night, okay? We'll have 20 articles for them. The point is, they're going, nope, that's it. I'm going to stop right now here on air, okay? Because I can't stand watching you search. I'm going to think of the exact name. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to do it. Here we go. Drones. It was, by the way, this is not some parlor bit, folks. I come up with this stuff I've read and researched, and then I can't find it. It drives me crazy. Military testing drones that make decisions for themselves or something like that. Try that. This is driving me crazy. If I can't find it, call Watson. He can always find it even better than I can. One of the few skills he surpasses me in. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into the other news. As I said earlier, I told you, oh, there it is. There it is. You found it. Alternet. But I think the one I found was New York Times. The rise of killer drones that can think for themselves. The U.S. military, maybe a decade or so away, they always tell you that when it's already in place, from deploying an army of pilotless drones capable of collaborating and killing without any human guidance. Bull. Yeah, this is October 2nd. This is from November, the one. They're already testing them. There must be crazy-haired mad scientists roaming the U.S. military research laboratories unsupervised. The most reasonable explanation for the military's latest advanced drone technology. No, the elites don't want militaries that can say no to them. It's all about control. Use that similar headline now. It's MIT being reported on the New York Times, I think. Oh, you found a Washington Post. A future for drones, automated killing. You see? Did I lie to you? There it is right there. And this has always been their goal. I knew this from documents in the 70s that I read in the late 90s, and I covered in my book, Descent into Tyranny, online at prisonplanet.tv. Again, look at that. Ground drones, armored troop carrier drones. Yeah, look, they have robot command centers that dump out killer ground robots, launch small spy robots out of the top. You can look at these online Pentagon videos. You've got the autonomous land killer. You got the UAV in the up above. And again, this will all be used against you. The little control freak psycho cops, they're not even going to be needed soon. That's why they aren't getting rid of the cops yet to write tickets. They're just going to use the license plate readers and stuff to do that because they don't want them to freak out their unions to say no. But they're going to be done. All humans are going to be is repairing these killers. I've talked to Marines a decade ago, and a few years ago I talked to a Marine Corps officer. I'll leave it at that. They've got killer robots. They've even got them for psyops with like big demon heads and skull heads on them. What you see in the Terminator movies is actually a psyop, so when you see that, you're going to freak. Look, it's a rubber mask thing. It can be defeated. And remember, you can always find the humans that are running them and controlling them, and you can always get to the factories. I know you're not going to listen now, but it's all a Pentagon plan. We're going to defeat these eugenicists. They think their Prozac in the water, their chemicals in the food are going to control us. If you're conscious of the enemy's operations, you can defeat it. You see, you notice all their attempts to call us conspiracy theorists and demonize us when we have the documents, it's only going to backfire. Everybody who was kept in the dark is only getting angry now that they were kept in the dark. All right, I got to move now. How long have I been going here? 23 minutes. I got to shut this down in a minute and get to the rest of the Ben Fuchs information, another revolution of how to keep their poison out of us and how to get healthy. And I've just begun my journey. That's coming up. Sheriff Department sponsors secret meeting of small government terrorists. And this is a standard procedure. Your traitorous government, trained by the ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center, and we have links to it, literally sits around all day saying they like George Washington. If they own guns, they're terrorists. And I've shown you the training manuals. The Ventura County Sheriff's Department has teamed up with the Anti-Defamation League, same folks that got convicted of breaking into police departments to get files on citizens, a quasi-secret meeting in Camarillo, California that characterizes small government activists as violent terrorists. And if you want don't want banker bailouts, don't want corruption, want local control, you are listed as a terrorist and put in a file. Let the terrorists put us in files. They're the un-American terrorists. They're the 21st century authoritarians. They're the ones that are going to get beaten. This is all a test for humanity. They're the little control freaks that love all the weapons and the spying and listening to our phones without warrants, run by ADL, a known lobbying group for Israeli intelligence that thinks America's run by them. Let them try to take our police over. We're just going to expose it. I mean, it's on. We will defend the republic against enemies foreign and domestic. And so the globalists can try this stuff all day. But there's the report. The sovereign citizen movement, like the people with the cows that they used the Pentagon Air Force drone on. That's what they called them. Sovereign citizen. Oh my gosh, they're saying I'm not a slave. They've got to be dealt with. Whatever. Your apartheid's going to fail. It's apartheid against people that want basic freedom to be treated like a human. You want to create a race war, you're going to fail. The people are going to come together and recognize this. Let's continue here. Again, I told you it's a war on rural people. I've always told you that because I've got their documents. Here it is. The drones, all of it. There it is. You're the enemy. And a foreign Israeli-run group, and I'm not enemies with Israel. Governments try to take over other governments. That's what Israel's done. Just like China's tried to take over the U.S. They're operating for their interest. I'm saying keep your hands off our farms and ranches and our guns and stop demonizing people that are Americans and want our basic freedoms back. It's that simple. Okay? Can't we have guns like Israeli citizens are handed guns? Why is the ADL lobby to take our guns? Because ADL thinks we're their property. I'm not your property, and you know it. Okay, let's continue. Obama wants Iran to return downed drone. Speaking of drones, rather than asking for a return to the high-tech spycraft, Iran has suggested Obama should apologize for violating its sovereignty. Yeah, they're talking about attacking Iran over this, and Iran's talking about shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. Let's go to one of the most pathetic clips of Obama. I guess his teleprompter wasn't loaded. And he's trying to act all reasonable when his attorney general shipping drugs into the country on record and guns out of the country and got caught lying to Congress. He's there saying, give me the drone back. By the way, Iran's getting its bases blown up. They don't want to act powerless that they're being bombed, but the West is already bombing them. That's now admitted. And it's like, how dare you not let us get intelligence to bomb you more? How dare you not be our good little slave? And again, I know it's fun to hate Ahmadinejad. People can't find the country on a map, and he's got brown skin, so he must be evil. The point is, in Iran, they don't pay their population to have abortions. In Iran, they're not trying to shoot people up with deadly Gardasil shots. That's why they must be destroyed. Well, let's go ahead and go to that clip of our lordship, Barack Obama.
The drone inside of Iran, I'm not going to comment on intelligence matters that are classified. As has already been indicated, we have asked for it back. We'll see how the Iranians respond.
They relish how asleep the American public is. Though we're starting to awaken, you see the velvet glove coming off the iron fist. They relish acting all establishment while they engage in every manner of crime known to man. They love it. And they just keep counting on the general public being ignorant and playing into the fact that, I'm with the system, I'm a winner. The only way you're a winner is standing against this tyranny. It's the only future we have. We've got links to all the different sources, but U.S. Special Forces are massing on the Syrian border, just like they did with al-Qaeda forces a few months ago to invade Libya and take over Tripoli. And there's the report, U.S. Special Forces mass on Syria border, Infowars.com. We have links to Sybil Edmonds and also papers in the Middle East and the Debka file out of Israel reporting on the fact that that is going on. So we have just more globalist takeover happening, more globalist invasions, all financed by the American people. Continuing, cleansed Libyan town spills its terrible secrets. We tried to warn you about this back in September as it was beginning. It was confirmed, obviously, that Libya is in Africa, so it's a black homeland. But the Arabs in the last 300 years or so have moved into the area, and that's fine. Most Arabs and blacks get along and intermarry and stuff. But Gaddafi was friends with everybody. Not saying he's a good guy, not saying he's a bad guy. But he was in al-Qaeda. The sword of the New World Order, the sword of the Illuminati, has been used against the entire planet, including the U.S., to take our liberties. It's a kind of a skeleton key to open every door for the globalists. And al-Qaeda came in and in some towns, in one case, killed hundreds of black women and children and men. There's videos we showed hacking them up, the kids, the women, the kids' faces blowing off. It's all very humanitarian. And just like when the UN goes in and slaughters a black village, it's trending. I mean, as long as it's UN, line a little kid